he in?
Yes, he's in, but he's...
Bonnie, get me Carl Wilson in the superintendent's office. Please. Want to see me?
Just for a second.
Come on. Oh, boy.
Line 1, Mr. Kaufman. Mr. Wilson.
This is something else. This is really something else. Hello, Carl. Carl. Look, I'm afraid it can't be done. No, that would be 5 more in each room, and that would... Yes, I can hold Carl. These geniuses downtown, they think they can just send over the desks and we can shove them in the rooms with a kid attached to each one. Now, look, Carl, you know what we're running here now, don't you? We're anywhere from 4 to 6 over the limit. How many is Lowell taking? How many to Garfield? Oh, big deal, Carl. 10 less. 10. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Because Lowell and Garfield didn't squawk, I'm supposed to take 385 transfers as calmly as if they were a few new cracks in the plaster. Listen, as far as cracks in the plaster are concerned... Yes, I can hold, Carl.
How soon?
Hmm?
How soon?
Monday. Now, look. Carl, look, this is tough. I mean, those teachers are overloaded now. I can't say yes to a thing like this. At least give me a chance to come down and yell at you in person. Now, wait a minute, Carl. Don't say it's final. Well, of course I don't want to dump them in the streets, Carl. This is terrible. Well, if there's no other way, what else? Oh, I don't want to hear you say thank you, Carl. I want to hear you say, I owe you one, Seymour. Let me hear it. I owe you one, Seymour. That's right, and it better be a beauty, Carl. There's a lot of things this school needs, especially now. Carl, let me put you on a hold. Forever.
Good morning, Mr. Kaufman. Don't you love these mornings now that the days are getting longer? It's good not to have to turn the lights on when you get up. You know, the real advantage is the extra time I have to work on my lesson plans.
Excuse me.
Take today's lesson plan, for example. Hey, you're not really interested in my lesson plan, are you?
Well, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Are you adding more students to the class, Mr. Kaufman?
Oh, no, I was just bored, and it was either move the furniture or change my hairstyle.
You're adding students to the class.
Mr. Kaufman, there probably be more of us students in here.
You're a good boy, Richie.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. Don't forget, 12 o'clock.
Right. Oh, get your racket restrung, because I don't want any excuses when I take the set.
My racket? I was going to give you a break and play with my mandolin. Oh, while I'm beating you, I'll explain about those extra chairs.
Well, it should be an interesting day.
What this country needs is 2 cars in every garage and 2 desks for every student.
Man, I told you, leave these desks together in the dark all night and this kind of thing will happen.
What's this all about, Mr. Dixon?
I don't know. Miss Johnson?
Well, Mr. Kaufman and I were discussing it a while ago.
And?
Well, he told me we were getting some new students.
Man, pretty soon they're going to have you teaching in a stadium with a bullhorn.
You might be right, Jason.
5 new cherubs in every class. 5!
What started all this?
Rezoning, that new King Arthur housing development.
The one with the phony moat?
With our luck, there won't be a crocodile in it. We get everything east of Prince Valiant Way.
That's not all you're getting. Tonight's PTA night, remember? They're not going to like this either.
Oh, that's right. I forgot all about that. Oh, I'm just going to have to think of some way to sneak it past them, that's all.
I don't know. What about the Teaching Standards Committee?
Oh, the Teaching Standards Committee, the vigilantes. Look, this thing is already settled. It's an irrevocable, unchangeable decision. Now, what good is it going to do to get the PTA all souped up about it? All that's going to do is cut into my workday with irate calls and seeing parents. Not to mention the fact that there's always a couple of nuts with a drink or two in them that want to call my house 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Well, it may be an irrevocable decision, but I still think the committee will want to talk about it.
Who's the new chairman?
Pete Dixon.
Pete? Good old Pete?
Well, you may know a good old Pete I don't. The one I know was pretty sore about the size of his class last September.
Oh, don't worry about Pete. Pete is no problem. Well, there's one good thing about the PTA. Trouble can only come from one of two sources. Parents and teachers. That's it.
You can't win them all, man. Don't you have some studying to do? Sure hurts to lose to a guy with nothing but dink shots and high lobs.
I don't know what you're complaining about. I'm the one with the fantastic win record, remember? But you flashy types get to endorse all the tennis rackets. There's no justice.
That's okay. I want another crack at you tomorrow. And no more of this lunch hour time limit stuff either. After school. Sun's better, too.
I'm yours. 4 o'clock. Actually, I was going to throw the game today to put you in a good mood.
If it's about those 5 desks in my room, you can put me in a good mood by telling me we're going to use them for firewood.
You know, Pete, you don't start out as a principal. I was a teacher myself for quite a while. I know how difficult a big class can be.
A big class, yes, but this is impossible.
I know, but believe me, there's nothing that can be done about it. There's no point in fighting it.
If you don't fight it, then you're handing out diplomas that don't mean anything. Pieces of paper that say that the kids have got an education. And they don't have one when classes get that big.
Pete, how long have you known me? I feel the same way about this thing as you do. But there's nothing I can do about it. It's over. Now, look, let me get down to what I've been building up to all along anyhow. I understand you're the new head of the Teaching Standards Committee. I want to ask you to cool it for me at the PTA tonight. I mean, let me just kind of brush through it. There's no point in getting the parents all fired up.
But that's what the PTA is all about. To help the learning process any way it can.
Pete, I'm trying to tell you, the decision is made. It's all over. I know when I can't win. Now, if your committee brings down the parents on my head for the next 2 or 3 weeks, I don't see how that can help the learning process. Do you?
Can go through.
I didn't let it. It's way better. Now, I hate to put it on. As a personal favor, I'm asking you to help me out. Let me do it.
It's asking an awful lot.
If it was a little, I wouldn't have to ask. Think about it.
You imagine what I thought?
That one's cream, no sugar.
Oh, thank you, dear. I mean, there were all those empty desks, and I just stood there. I just stood there and looked.
Sugar only.
Oh, thank you, Al.
I'm 3 more than I'm supposed to already, right? Well, and you know, I don't have one of those more...
You're too modest. I never have any trouble hearing you.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I think it's serious. I only hope something can be done about it. 1 or 2 extra... 5?
Good evening.
Oh, hi, Mr. Turner.
Oh,
Turner, how are you?
We're discussing this outrage.
One thing, the furnace bill will go down. Lots more body heat.
Now, listen, this thing is no laughing matter. I simply can't teach a class that big.
Wouldn't you know, tonight we'd have a big turnout. I hope you understood why I had to ask for that this afternoon.
I was just talking to some of the teachers. They're pretty angry.
I know. That's why I'm not going to begin until they're a little less angry and a little more sleepy. Oh, Mrs. Ruiz. Mrs. Ruiz, I want to talk to... Excuse me, Pete. I want to talk to you.
You just have to volunteer for committees, huh?
I was thinking the same thing.
See you later.
Downtown knows if there isn't any outcry, they've gotten away with it.
They've got the kids. What are they supposed to do with them? Oh, but if we don't let this thing happen, then they'll be forced to find a better way.
Pete, you're chairman of our Teaching Standards Committee. You do plan to say something, don't you?
Ladies, gentlemen, please take your seats.
Let's just see what happens.
They said the situation is only temporary.
But how long is temporary?
May I say something? That's exactly what they told us many years ago when they added 3 pupils to my class. My class of 23 students.
Miss Ogilvy objected, stating that, quote, Walt Whitman is not a prison, unquote. Mr. Sanderson made a motion, and it was decided by a vote of 67 to 48 to form a bar committee which will study the evidence and make a report.
Zone, that's my chance.
However, the bar committee was tabled when only Mr. Sanderson volunteered, and the meeting was adjourned. Refreshments consisted of a delicious cupcake assortment and a punch with a frozen fruit juice base. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Jackson. And now, unless anyone has anything else to take up, it's getting late, and I think we have already come. Oh, Mr. Kaufman?
I just have a little thing, something that came up today. You all know that new housing development, the King Arthur, whatever it is. Well, it's caused serious overcrowding in the school that would normally take their students. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to take a few of their people just for the present time. But you'll all get an explanation of this thing in the mail.
Mr. Kaufman.
Mr. Dixon?
We all know that the classrooms are already overcrowded. I think we should strongly oppose the addition of any more students.
Yeah, let's do something about it. He's right. How can the board do this to us?
I don't know how the rest of you parents feel, but I'm against it. It's got to stop sometime.
Listen, Mr. Kaufman, my taxes are high enough. If you school people didn't waste money on unnecessary things, we wouldn't have to cram a whole mess of kids into one room.
How are we going to maintain the standards of this school? The next thing you know, they'll bring in double-decker desks.
There is only so much that can be done about this thing. There aren't enough classrooms. They're planning to build more.
Oh, Mr. Kaufman, they've been planning to build more for a long time.
Mr. Dixon, what's the point of all of this? The classrooms just aren't there, so what's this all about?
Well, if we don't fight this, we'll never get those classrooms.
Look, everybody, it's getting late, and this isn't getting us anywhere. I'm sorry about it all. Thank you and good night.
Maybe I call this one memorable PTA meeting.
Pete, you were fantastic. I mean, you presented your case so well that by the time you were finished, there wasn't one person in this room that didn't agree with you. Except Mr. Kaufman, of course.
It was rough on him, wasn't it?
Oh, no, I'm sure he loved every minute of it.
I think I'd better go talk to him and explain. See you. Mr. Kaufman! Mr. Kaufman? Can I speak to you a minute? I hope you understand about this.
No, I don't understand. I don't understand at all. We're still going to get those extra students, but thanks to what you did tonight, we're also going to get anger, frustration, and dissension. That's not good for this school.
But I had no choice.
Well, the way I look at it, what you did tonight was a pretty rotten thing. Once in a while, when you're in a jam, you look to a friend to help you out. I thought that's what I was doing.
But this isn't the kind of thing that you can put on a friendship basis.
Well, it's a basis I thought we were on. I guess I was wrong.
How do you like that? He just went right off the deep end. He didn't even listen to what I was saying. A rotten thing. Just because for once I didn't go along with him. Well, what do you think?
I think I'll keep my mouth shut until you cool off.
You know what I should have said? I should have said if I hadn't done some other rotten things, we'd have half-day sessions by now.
Look, I'm going in now.
If we do things his way, the next thing I know, I'll have to get permission from him to say good morning to my class.
See you tomorrow.
What do you expect me to do? Just sit there?
Good night, Pete. Go home and get some sleep.
I'm not sleepy.
Get some sleep anyway.
Yes, sir. No, I expect him very soon. Yes. Just a minute. Mr. Kaufman. Mr. Kaufman, that telephone is going crazy, and they all want to talk to you.
Refer them to Miss McIntyre, please. The polite ones. I'll take the angry but civil ones. Call the police on the obscene ones.
Yes, sir.
Bonnie. What's this? Mr. Nielsen?
Oh, he's the visual aids man. You promised you'd see him today.
Oh, that's right. Maybe 11 o'clock? Wait a minute. No, can't do 11 o'clock. Right after lunch?
You promised Miss Barker you'd hear the Glee Club.
Oh, well, we can't miss out on that, can we? Is there anything else this afternoon?
Yes, tennis with Mr. Dixon at 4 o'clock.
Tell Mr. Nielsen, 4 o'clock, please.
That was our first debate. Here we were, a bunch of ghetto kids, right? We walk in, and they're all dressed up in suits and ties, and we look like a bunch of kids that just got through playing sandlot football.
What was your topic?
The affirmative. Is America spoiling its kids? They took one look at us, and they figured if we didn't win the cup, that we would take it anyway.
Here, Mr. Kaufman, sit here. I was just going to put in some time on the Dewey Truman campaign.
Sit down, Miss Johnson. I don't think Truman and Dewey need volunteers anymore.
No, I insist. Now, how would it look for the principal to roam around the cafeteria with no place to sit? Please, sit down before your macaroni and cheese gets cold. Okay?
Thank you, Miss Johnson.
I'll take your tray, okay?
That won't be necessary.
Oh, sure. Come on, let me take it for you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Mr. Kaufman, Pete was just telling us about his debut as a public speaker. And Mr. Dixon just fractures me.
Well, go on, Pete. Tell us the rest of it.
There's nothing.
Mr. Kaufman, what do you think of the macaroni and cheese today?
It's wonderful.
Good.
Hi. You ready?
Oh, you finished early. It's only 3:45.
Yeah. Let's go.
I can't. I'm stuck for at least a half hour with these remedial reading scores.
Can't you put them off?
No.
Okay. I'll wait.
My writing doesn't bother your pacing, does it?
No. No.
What's the matter?
Nothing.
You're still upset, aren't you?
I am not upset. Hurry up.
It's a long time to stay mad.
I'm not mad. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I acted like an idiot today at lunch, right?
Well, it was.
He could have broken the ice. He's always making jokes. Could have said something funny about the food or something.
Maybe he didn't feel so funny.
Hurry up and get finished so we can get out of here.
Sure. You do. I mean, how long are you going to go around like this?
I'm not the only one that's doing it.
Well, you said it. Kaufman's acting the same way.
Let's not forget who started it.
Do you know who? I don't. I don't even know who's right. I was in Kaufman's office when he was on the phone trying to keep Whitman from getting those extra kids. I heard him. He did everything he could.
I guess we really want the same thing, don't we?
Of course you do.
And it really doesn't matter who started it, does it?
It's how it's going to end. Somebody's got to start talking to somebody.
Do me a favor, will you?
Sure. What?
Do a little work.
You ready?
Ready.
Hi, Pete.
Oh, hi, Alice.
Do you want to go on reading, or can we talk?
Oh, you want to talk to me about something?
I have an enormous amount of respect for you, not only as a teacher, but as a person.
Gee, that's a very nice thing for you to say, Alice.
And I can't stand to see you fighting with Mr. Kaufman.
Look, Alice, it's all over.
Oh, Pete, don't say that. You two have had a really wonderful relationship. Now, if you'll just make the effort to work it out.
Hi, Pete.
Oh, hi, Mr. Kaufman.
Just checking if you want to lose at tennis again today.
How's 4 o'clock?
I think I'll let you use 2 rackets today.
Now, isn't that better?
What do you mean?
Well, doesn't it make a lot more sense for the two of you to be getting along and talking to each other? You're such good friends and you agree on almost everything. I'm glad I came in and had this talk with you.
I'm glad you did too, Alice.
After all, human relationships are just a matter of working things out. If you take the time, everything falls into place. It's just a matter of give and take, and sometimes you have to give a little more than you take. something wrong?
I've been drafted.
Into the Army?
No, into the vice principal's office.
Oh, then the board okayed Mr. Kaufman's program, and you're the man.
Right.
Uh-oh. You're going to have to work in the same office with Gil Casey.
Well, it's not a perfect world, you know.
Out of all those applicants, they picked you?
Before you're both overcome with gratitude, I better tell you that the board approved my plan, but they didn't approve my budget. That means
that I can learn administration, but only on my own time.
Sorry. I know that carrying a full load of classes and spending all your free periods in the vice principal's office isn't exactly heaven. You can pass on it. I wish you wouldn't.
When do we start?
Well, your free first period this morning.
Fine.
Excuse us, please. Let me give you a little bit of free advice that they gave to me when I went into administration. Never take free advice.
I don't think you'll have trouble with many of the forms. Probably best I just let you find your own way with them and then answer any questions.
Fair enough.
Now, a couple of tips on the care and feeding of the animals from the vice principal's point of view. For openers, everyone who comes in here is going to lie.
Everybody.
Well, it's the safest presumption to make. That way you're not disappointed when they do lie, and it gives you a kick when they don't. You know where you are, and the kids know where they are when they come in. Well, you ready?
Ready.
Okay, Steve. Vice principal's office. You want to take this one, Pete?
What happened to you, Steve?
Mrs. Russell sent me.
Who punched you in the mouth, Steve?
Nobody.
Somebody punched you in the mouth. Don't tell me nobody punched you in the mouth.
Have you seen the nurse yet?
Mm-mm.
You go see her and then come back.
No, that's promised. Where do you think you're going, Steve?
Well, Mr. Dixon said...
I sent him to the nurse.
Well, if Mr. Dixon sent you to the nurse, what are you standing around for? Move it. And shut the door behind you. One of two kids gave Steve that fat lip. Either Mike Buttigieg or... Oh, no. It had to be Mike. Sidney transferred to Clymer High on Friday.
How can you be so sure?
Well, you'll see. It might be a good move to have Mike out in the waiting room when Steve comes back. If you don't mind a suggestion. Confrontation saves a lot of time. Schneider, go find Mike Buttigieg and tell him I want him. Okay, who's next?
I guess I am.
In. Who's next after that? Come on, Fred.
You vice principal now, Mr. D?
Just learning the job. Why are you here?
I cut English yesterday.
Why?
His attendance records are in the file, Pete. Shall we dance around, or you want to get right down to the nitty-gritty, Fred? Well, what's the story?
What story?
Ted, wait outside till I call you. And shut the door behind you.
I cussed out Mr. Lemon. I'm guilty. Give me the detention slip.
What did you call him?
You know what I always call him.
You think that's hip, calling a teacher that? Is that smart?
No, but it's true. You want me to lie?
Oh, you're terrific. Really terrific. Wiseacre Fred, real hotshot. What do you suppose happens if I suspend you?
Nothing. What can happen? Well, a man comes down here. Big deal. You're not really going to call my father.
What do you care, right? Big deal, right? He'll just come down and we'll have a little talk.
Well, I'll apologize to Mr. Lemon.
Go home, Fred. And bring your mother with you tomorrow. You're being suspended.
Okay.
School would be better off without Fred.
He looked like a kid running a bluff to me.
Well, he's a troublemaker, small time, but he can disrupt a class as fast as a stink bomb in a trash can.
Gil, you can't just throw out every kid who causes a little static.
Why not? Oh, I know the rules say we can't, but why not? That kid is a thief. He's stealing time from all the other kids in the class. What happened to Ted?
I sent him to the waiting room.
Did you see his attendance records?
Yeah. Makes every class but English. 13 cuts out of 15 classes.
Yep. He cut off his nose to spite his own face. That kid blew a full 4-year scholarship at a major university with that little number. All he needed was a B in English and he was in. And now zilch.
Oh, he still has a chance. It's only midterm.
How do you figure? He's getting an F for midterm. Even if he gets all A's for the rest of the year, it'll only average out to a final C. I've got to check some files. You want him back in?
Thanks.
Ted, inside.
Ted, you want to tell me why you keep cutting English?
Well, it's dumb. Okay, we had a book report to do, but I didn't get the book read, so I cut the class, figuring I'd finish the book that day and write the report that night and bring it in the next day. Well, I didn't do it, so I cut the class again, and again, and again. Here I am.
Did you talk to Mr. Schuler about it?
He said I should come back to class.
And?
No and. He said I might pass with a D if I worked hard.
Well, did you explain to him how important it was for you to get a B?
Yeah, I told him. He said I should have thought of that before I cut the classes.
He's right.
Well, I'm not blaming him.
Let me talk to him. You come back this evening. No, you better make that tomorrow, because I might not see him until then. I'll see what I can do.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Dixon.
Okay.
I don't get another one in for a minute, Pete. I want you to hear this. You know Mr. Dixon, don't you, Frank?
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Dixon.
You mean good afternoon, Mr. Dixon, right, Frank? You've been late how many mornings this month so far?
Well, I don't know. A couple.
9, Frank.
Well, that's a lot.
That's very observant, Frank. Now, explain to Mr. Dixon why you were late this morning.
Well, the bus was late.
Tell him why.
Well, some guys... well, you know how, when the bus stops, people go out the back doors? Well, the bus was crowded, and some of the guys like to hold the doors open and let other guys sneak on, without having to pay. So, well, the bus driver gets all uptight and he shoves through the bus trying to, find the guys who snuck on. And, well, by the time he's done, the bus is late. You can't hunt for the guys and drive the bus at the same time. And so, I'm late.
Frank, I talked to the bus driver, and he gave me a description of the kid that's been holding the doors open. You're him, Frank.
I don't even stand near the doors. Well, usually I get a seat.
What's it going to be, Frank? Shall I call your parents, or do you admit to holding the door open?
Listen, both my parents work.
It's your choice.
Okay, it's me. I won't do it again, and I won't be late again either.
Get to class, Frank. When I said that everyone that comes in here lies, I wasn't excluding myself.
You mean the bus driver didn't describe Frank?
Right. He doesn't know who was holding the door open.
Well, maybe it wasn't Frank. That kid would have admitted to anything to keep you from calling his parents.
Exactly. I lie, and he gets to school on time.
But what happens if he's late again?
He goes home and comes back with his parents. Put a check, you get in here. Steve, you too.
This time I'll watch.
Okay, but jump in anytime. Now, who punched you in the mouth, Steve?
Nobody. I already told you.
I know you did it, Mike. Why?
He ought to know if anybody hit him in the mouth, and he just
I
said
have a witness.
Okay, I hit him. Guys hit guys sometimes.
You're stupid telling him. No kidding, Mike.
Why'd you hit him, Mike?
Because he called me stupid, like he did just then. Last time, I hit him in the mouth.
You hit a kid who wears glasses just because he called you that?
Yeah, I got a temper, okay? But it's improving because I didn't hit him now.
What do you want, points because you didn't hit him now? You could have put out his eye. He wears glasses, Mike.
Oh, no, I didn't hit him in the glasses. I hit him in the mouth.
Miss Johnson needs some help, really.
What's the matter?
There's a boy, Tom Whalum. He used to go here. He's in Miss Johnson's room.
I'd call the police. What are you going to do, Pete?
You'll find out what's wrong.
Well, while we're waiting, why don't we turn to the introduction of Chapter 9? Oh, I suppose you don't have a textbook. Well, look, you're welcome to use mine. I've already read the introduction to Chapter 9. This young man just dropped in our class. He, Mr. Dixon, this is... Oh, I didn't get your name.
That's okay, Miss Johnson. I'll take care of it. Let's go.
You're not throwing me out.
Nobody said I was.
This is a public school.
Let's go out in the hall and talk. We're disturbing the class.
Well, what if I don't want to go out into the hall?
Then we'll send the class out in the hall and we'll stay in here. It's easier the other way around.
All I did was ask him if he went to school here, and he said no, but he wouldn't go to the office to register or anything.
Do you want me to ask the questions, or you just want to tell me?
I used to go here.
Did you graduate?
I screwed up. I got transferred to Payson.
Get bounced out of there, too?
I don't know. I only went twice.
Do you want to come back here?
Yeah. But Casey wouldn't let... Mr. Casey wouldn't let me back in here if I was on my knees.
Oh, so that's why you got so uptight when Miss Johnson suggested that you go down to the office.
I didn't know what to do, so I just stood there.
Well, come go down to the office with me. We'll see what we can do.
Well, if Casey said there's nothing you can do.
Let's find out.
Oh, Mr. Dixon?
Tom, go down to the office and wait for me. I'll be with you in a minute.
Thank goodness. I would appreciate it if you'd take Mr. Darrow down to the vice principal's office and deposit him. He's been marching up and down in front of my classroom until the whole class is so distracted that no work can be accomplished.
I'll be glad to, Miss
Oh,
Foss.
thank you.
Go on, Billy.
We wouldn't have had this detention if you would have kept your dumb mouth shut. Listen, don't start in on me, Steve. I'm gonna bust you in the nose this time.
That's what...
Get homesick for that chair, Whalen?
I'm waiting for Mr. Dixon.
Wrong. Move it. You're bad news, Whalen.
Wait a minute, Gil. I asked Tom to wait till I got back.
Pete, you don't know this character. Oh, Billy get caught wandering again?
Yeah, Miss Foss complained this time.
Inside, Billy.
It'll be just a minute.
Sure.
Okay, Billy. What's the story this time?
It's Jim again, sir.
Oh, don't give me that sir jazz. You can't con me with a phony sir. You don't mean it, and any half-wit can tell it's insincere. Now, what is the story?
I cut Jim.
Are you sick?
Kind of. I think I got the flu or something.
You don't have the flu. We'll tell you when you have the flu. Oh, will you handle this one, Pete? I'll go dig up Whalen's records. Maybe after you've taken a look at him, you'll see what a bad case he really is.
Look, Gil, I realize he's got a problem.
Say no more until you see his records.
Sit down, Billy. How many cuts in Jim this semester?
About 10.
Why?
Just sick or something.
Did you go see a doctor?
You're straight, Mr. Dixon. If I tell you, you won't laugh or tell anybody, will you?
No.
I don't want to take my clothes off for the other guys.
Well, you can get over that.
No, I won't. Mr. Dixon, I got no underwear.
Listen, Billy, we have a fund here at Whitman for that sort of thing.
I don't want any charity. I'm looking for a job. I'll get my own stuff.
Well, maybe I can help. Come back and see me after school and I'll see what I can do.
I'm gonna level with you, Billy. I've had it with you and cutting Jim.
Hey, wait a minute, Gil.
Just a minute, Pete. Let me finish with him. I'm warning you, Billy. One more cut and you're gone. You got that?
Yes, sir.
Don't give me any more of that phony Sir jazz. You want a grapefruit juice, Pete?
Do you realize what you just did to that kid?
Here. Cool off. These are Whalen's records.
I'm talking about Billy Durra.
Well, don't tell me. Let me guess. He told you that he liked you, and then confided in you that he didn't have any underwear, and that he was looking for a job so he could buy some, right? That kid has a lot of underwear. What he doesn't have is a love of calisthenics. He hates push-ups, so he cuts Jim. And he's a very good actor.
Boy, he had me fooled.
They all fool you. Billy, Pinder, Whalem out there. If you don't wise up, they're going to tear you apart. They're all losers. They're not worth zilch, believe me, Pete.
But we can't just write them off.
Come on, Pete, be realistic. The losers use up all the time. They foul up classes. They keep secretaries working overtime to keep up with the paperwork.
Gil, what is more important, a little paperwork or human beings?
The 5% that cause all the trouble use up all the time, if we can dump them. We've got a lot more time to give to the 95% that come to class to learn.
So we just push them outside, then what? We've got 5% on the streets without any education.
Schools do not make winners and losers. The winners come to learn, the losers come for a free ride and no rules. Now, you take Whalem out there. He's no good. There is nothing you can do or I or anybody else for him. Don't you understand that?
Gentlemen, don't get me wrong. I think that the honest airing of views is the healthiest possible situation. If we give a little consideration to the volume level, I may have to go to a rock festival to get a little quiet.
Pete wants Tom Whalem to take another shot at us.
Why?
Because I think every student has the right to expect us to listen when he yells for help. Well, Tom Whalem is yelling right now.
You want to hold out a hand to him?
He'll bite it off. First the hand, then the arm, and then the shoulder. And then he'll steal your watch.
Interesting dilemma.
Oh, Mr. Kaufman, I think you'd better make the decision about Tom. I won't change my mind, and I don't think Gil will either.
I think that the man handling the case should make the decision. Whose case is it?
Well, it's mine.
You just learned the big lesson about our boss. If he gives you a job, you have the power to do it your way. You win, Pete. But I think you're going to regret it.
Oh, Cal, you got a minute?
Hey, Pete. Yeah. Oh, congratulations on being Kaufman's first guinea pig on that new training program. How's that coming along, anyway?
Well, part of that's up to you.
What do you mean?
Ted Pinder.
Oh, yeah. Well, Pete, he has missed 13 classes already this term, and he hasn't taken one exam, so I had to give him an F.
Yeah, but he needs a B to get a scholarship.
Yeah, I know.
I'd like you to give him another chance at it.
It seems like he should have thought of that before, don't you think?
Yeah, he should have. But what happens to Ted Pinder if he doesn't go to college? And the only way he can get there is with a scholarship.
Well, just between you and me, Pete, I don't think he's sharp enough for college.
How do you figure? I mean, Einstein had difficulty in school with mathematics.
Well, Ted Pinder is no Einstein, believe me.
Yeah, but maybe if he gets in college, he'll make something of himself. Now, there's no way possible for him to get a B unless you give him a break.
And then what happens to our standards if we give one boy special consideration? I mean, what does a B in English mean if we help one boy more than the rest?
Well, tell me something. Does a B from you mean the same thing as a B from Miss Foss?
Well, I think we all know Miss Foss grades very easy.
What about our standards?
I tell you, Pete, I have to make an appointment. Peace.
Peace.
My sister's a nurse, and she taught me all that biology.
Go on, Lee.
Well, anyways, I know the answers to most of the questions, and I put my hand up. But he never calls on me.
Who do you have?
Well, Carter. Well, anyways, I put up my hand, but he never calls on me. Unless I don't have my hand up. Then he calls on me. He tries to make me look stupid. He thinks that's funny.
Go on.
Well, anyways, he did it again this morning. And I was really uptight. I mean, I was really boiling. And I said, well, I don't remember tibia. Well, you know that bone, tibia? Yeah, well, I said, I don't remember where it is. And that was the question. And then all the guys around me start to laugh, you know. And I said I'd like to throw that skeleton out the window. And Carter says, oh, yeah? Well, I'd like to see you try.
And?
And I threw the skeleton out the window. Well, it was easy. It wasn't heavy.
Hey, go back to class, Lee, and see me later. We'll see if we can straighten it out. Move it, Lee.
Oh, I'll pay for the skeleton.
Oh, you bet you will. Well, that's the first. That's the very first original problem that's come up in 5 years, maybe 10.
Well, it wasn't his fault. Carter drew the line. He just had to step over it.
If I had a buck for every problem that came up because a teacher dares a student, I could retire and take 10 people along with me. Now, probably the best thing to do is tell Kaufman and see if he'll talk to Carter. Might help.
Well, it's something we agree on.
Don't con yourself, Pete. What we've got is a shaky-armed truce at best.
That's something else we agree on. Well, I got a class.
I should be so lucky. See you later.
Right.
Vice Principal Casey. No, Mrs. Tedesco, I haven't been keeping Ralph in after school all week. As a matter of fact, Ralph hasn't been in school all week.
Mr. Dixon.
Oh, hi, Ted.
I just saw Mr. Schuler in the hall. He's got a tutor for him, and he's going to let me take a makeup test in 2 weeks. If I pass it, I've still got a good shot at that B.
Well, great.
I think I'm going to make it now. Is it okay for me to go to practice?
Go.
Thanks.
We have your Gamble back with us again, Pete. He was nail shooting craps in the locker room.
5 days detention, Tom.
Move it. Is that all you're going to give him?
I'll talk to him later.
And he'll do the same thing again or worse. Pete, you keep making bum moves like that and discipline is going to go down the drain.
Well, this way there's a chance. If we throw him out, no hope at all.
You're blind. He's a loser.
Gentlemen, I read in our journal that there's a great debate in England now over flogging. You know, birching, beating kids with a stick when they're naughty. Can we at least agree that we're all against that?
Oh, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I am against flogging. Give me a stout cat of 9 tails in my hand and...
Forget it. School board would never give you the money.
I think he'd buy his own.
Please pass your papers forward.
How'd you do, man?
Spelled my name perfect.
Now I want to tell you about your final essay assignments. That's no attitude. This is your last chance to express yourself at Whitman.
What was our first chance, Miss Johnson?
I want you all to write 1,000 words on the author that's meant the most to you in high school.
That's easy. The guy who wrote the disciplinary code.
Now, 5 of you from this section are excused from this assignment to work on your valedictorian speeches. And that's Eunice, Roger, Murray, Donna, and Neil.
How do they rate? How come they're the only ones that get to write the graduation speeches?
Because they have a 3.5 average or better.
Big deal. So they're A students. That doesn't mean they got more to say than anybody else.
How do you think you get A's?
I think it's your looks, Mur.
The rest of us don't even get a chance. Do you think that's right, Miss Johnson?
Well, it's tradition that the cum laudes give the speeches.
Tradition?
Well, I agree with Jason and Stan. Why should only the A students be the ones to speak?
What are you doing?
See, she's not afraid of competition.
Maybe we ought to talk to Mr. Kaufman, huh?
All Kaufman will do is show the state rules on graduation, that's all.
Yeah, you know who wrote those? The same guy who wrote the disciplinary code.
How come you're pleading their cause?
Because, Mr. Kaufman, I happen to think the students are really right.
They do have a good point. You know, Webster defines a valediction as a statement on leaving, not an IQ test. Now, a 3.5 average says good student, right? It also says hard worker. It does not indicate a leader or a good speaker, and it is in no way indicative of an inventive mind. Tell me something. Were you an A student, Mr. Kaufman?
Well, that wouldn't be a fair question to ask me, Pete. I happen to be the principal of a high school.
Were you?
No.
Neither was I. Liz?
B minus. Math got me.
Alice?
Oh, yeah, I got A's. I got all A's. I gave the graduation speech. I guess it was, pretty corny.
The challenge before us, right?
The promise of tomorrow.
Ooh.
Hey, you know, I don't know what harm it would do if, everybody submitted a speech.
Certainly would be a lift to the C students. I mean, just the thought that somebody might be interested in something they had to say.
And what they have to say might be very interesting.
I mean, the whole idea of graduation is changing. I mean, some schools, they don't even have caps and gowns and proms anymore. They give the money to causes.
Sometimes I wonder if any of our old traditions are worth preserving. Well, I guess we won't know unless we experiment. Miss Johnson, we'll try your little exercise in democracy. And I hope you all realize that that means we're going to have to find people to read 380 anonymous speeches instead of 40.
There's nothing I'd rather do than read 40 or 50 speeches this weekend.
I can hardly wait myself.
You see, Miss Johnson, without your little plan, your friends might have had to waste their free time doing frivolous things like going to the movies and dancing.
Well, looks like I came to the rescue again. Huh, gang? Right, Johnson. Well, today's the day. The judges have been judging your speeches, and I'm glad to announce that 3 of the winners are in this class. Donna, you'll be giving a speech. And so will you, Stan.
You're kidding.
No, I wouldn't kid about a thing like this. And Murray, you're first alternate.
Well, look who turned out to be speech maker.
Oh, cut it out, man. It's some kind of a gag.
No, it isn't. Look, I read your speech, and it was really terrific. Donna, yours was excellent, too, and so was yours, Murray.
Sure, Miss Johnson. I don't know why I even bothered to write it.
Oh, here we go again.
All you've done the last 4 years is get in trouble. I've worked hard for my grades. Where'd it get me? First alternate.
Be cool, Murray. Maybe there'll be a flu epidemic, and then you can give all 3 speeches.
It's not just the speech. It's the principle of the thing. There's nothing special about
being special anymore.
What do you mean, special?
You're special because you get A's. I'm special because I wrote a good speech.
You spent one night on that speech. I worked 4 years for my grades.
Hey, what is the big deal, huh? I won and that's that. Right, Miss Johnson?
It's the first step toward anarchy.
Actually, I think what Miss Tandy is saying is that this could have a disruptive influence on our future students.
I said anarchy, and I meant anarchy. If you make every honor available to every student, you deprive them of their motivation to compete.
But shouldn't the students be encouraged to get an education for its own sake, not for the honors?
If you look at it that way, one obviously has to respect that principle.
Yes. Now, what I wanted to know is why you two waited so long to say anything. I mean, why didn't you speak up when we first changed the rule?
We felt it wasn't our province. But when a boy like Stan Siebert is chosen valedictorian, one can't stand on ceremony.
Oh, I see. It's not really the rule, then, that's bothering you two. It's Stan.
Mr. Kaufman, Stan Siebert has drifted merrily through his 4 years here at Whitman, barely avoiding expulsion, just having a good time.
Having a good time. Well, perhaps. But he did win this honor in an open, fair competition.
Oh, hi, Mr. Dragon. Miss Tandy?
Good morning, Miss Johnson. I trust you're pleased with your innovation?
Actually, I think what Miss Tandy means is,
Oh, boy. Do a lot of the faculty feel that way?
Probably. But I didn't bring you down here to get a consensus. I want your opinion about something. Our valedictorians have been asked to appear on a Sunday television show. Jackson Baker Talks to Youth.
Well, if you want my honest opinion, sir, I think Jackson Baker is an awful square.
I wasn't really interested in your opinion of Jackson Baker. More like your opinion of Stan Siebert. Do you think it's safe to let him appear?
Safe?
There's no need to speak in riddles, Miss Johnson. Stan isn't exactly noted for self-control.
Well, he does speak his mind in class.
Speaking his mind is every citizen's right. Threatening to slug the boy's vice principal is not.
Mr. Casey?
The very one. Now, there's no excuse for that kind of behavior.
And you don't want to let bygones be bygones, huh?
Oh, I was very willing to do that. The incident had shrunk to a dim flicker in my memory until Stan started throwing eggs at Councilman Hackett on Americanism Day.
Well, I guess, Stan finds it hard to stifle his negative feelings. And I guess he, finds it hard to accept authority figures. I guess that's obvious.
And I guess you want me to give him a chance.
I guess so.
Bye. Hey, Miss Johnson. Miss Johnson, are you going to watch me on television?
Of course. Oh, Miss McIntyre's having some of us over for brunch, and we're all going to watch together.
Hey, far out. I'm going to have my own fan club.
Right.
You know, I really owe you a lot.
Stan, I didn't write your speech.
No, I mean, well, I don't mean that, but you did go to bat so that we could all write the speeches, you know? Anyway, it's a lot more than that. You're really a good teacher, you know that?
Thank you.
You know, if it wasn't for you and Mr. Dixon, a couple of others, I probably would have dropped out of this place a long, long time ago. You really listen, you know? You really listen. Like those other teachers, some of them, man, you raise your hand and they listen, but, wow, it's like they were waiting for some kind of a bus, you know?
What are you going to do after graduation, Stan?
I don't know. I don't know. My father says he could probably get me a job where he works.
Have you thought about college?
Oh, yeah. But you know what my grades are like. Harvard and Yale are not exactly fighting over me.
How about starting with junior college?
Yeah, I know. I've been thinking about that. If I got a job, I could probably take classes at night, couldn't I?
I hope you do. I don't mean to push you or anything, but I think you have an awful lot of potential.
You can push. I don't mind. I'll see you later.
And I said, it's not the sum, it's the principle. Okay, let's talk a little bit now about the curriculum.
Well, I do think some of our courses could be more relevant.
That's an interesting point.
A lot of the stuff we're required to take doesn't have much to do with what our lives are really like. For example, the language courses. We don't really need all that stuff, and I just don't know.
That is fascinating, Donna. Aren't these kids something? They question everything. It's a tonic just to be with them. Now, let's talk a little bit about the extracurricular activities. Willard, are you involved in sports?
Excuse me, Mr. Baker, what Donna was saying is very important.
Yes, it was. We all heard her, Sam.
Stan. No, I mean, she didn't get a chance to explain. You see, that's one of the really big problems in school today. You don't really learn things, you just borrow them.
Oh, I don't think you really mean that. Willard, about sports. Who had the best track team?
No, I do mean it. I do mean it, Mr. Baker. I mean, it's like the way the system is set up, right? You waste half your time learning facts for the tests. And then a week later, you ask the same questions, you'd think the whole student body came down with amnesia.
You suppose there's a chance that anybody from the Board of Education is watching, or is there a football game on the other channel?
You're very quick with the jokes, aren't you, Stan?
No, it's no joke, Mr. Baker. That's why school's such a drag most of the time. You never get to question things, and... I mean, there's things in those textbooks that don't make sense anymore, but there's no way of... Oh, excuse me, you took the camera off me. You took that camera off me. You think I'm some kind of a jerk? I don't know when the camera's on me?
I think you're a very, excitable young man.
That's lousy manners to turn someone off like that.
I think I have to question your authority on manners, Stan. And it seems to me that you've had more than your share of time. Now, I'd like to hear what Willard has to say about sports.
Nobody cares about sports. You have a chance to do something really important here.
Did I miss something?
This isn't the state legislature.
You are not even listening. As a matter of fact, you make such a good non-listener, they ought to make you superintendent of schools.
I really think it's time for you to sit down, Stan, and let somebody else speak.
Why should I sit down? You don't want people here, man. You just want bodies.
Stan!
Hey, come on. This is not a discussion. This is a bigger fake than the wrestling matches.
Will you please sit down?
Okay. All right, I'll sit down, but will you stop pulling on your ears? I know that's a signal.
We regret that due to technical difficulties, we have temporarily lost the sound portion of the Jackson Baker Show. Please stay with us.
I think I'll call in sick tomorrow. In fact, I think I'll call in sick today, even though it's Sunday. Can I leave any messages for you?
Mr. Kaufman, it's not merely parents and faculty who are responding adversely. Many of the students feel that Stan's behavior has discredited Whitman.
I know.
I don't think it was quite that bad. Baker was just as provocative in his own way as Stan was.
Stan still should have kept his temper.
That's true. But you know, the fact that he didn't doesn't mean that he shouldn't give his valedictory address.
Mr. Kaufman, I think we've all been more than fair to that boy.
Miss Tandy, for the first time, Stan has become constructively involved in something. And he's found a new way to express his point of view. I think if we deny him the right to speak, there's a good chance he'll go back to throwing eggs as a form of self-expression.
That's true. Well, Stan's sort of been a late bloomer. And I know he's kind of overbloomed, but he really has changed for the better.
And isn't that the reason we're here? To help the students change for the better?
And you've both read Stan's speech. There's nothing inflammatory about it.
Oh, yes, that's true. But will he stick to that speech? Well?
Why did you have to ask that, Miss Tandy? Okay. Stan, would you come in, please?
Why would he change his speech?
Sir? Stan, I want to talk to you about the graduation.
You don't want me to give my speech?
Oh, no. I'm very impressed with your speech. I'm concerned with the ceremony itself. Stan, you know, graduation is one of those tired old traditions that mean a lot to some people, like legal marriages and a reasonable credit rating. Now, no matter how square those people may seem to you, I hope you're going to respect their rights.
I don't understand.
I hope that you're going to give the speech that you wrote.
Are you trying to muzzle me, sir?
If I was trying to muzzle you, Stan, I would muzzle you, and then we wouldn't need this discussion. I'm trying to prevent another incident. What do you say?
Well, actually, up till now, I hadn't really thought about changing my speech. But what with all the static that I've been getting about the Baker show, there are a few things that I'd like to lay on the people, yeah.
You really think that graduation is the place to do that?
You want an honest answer?
Yeah, I really do.
I don't know, maybe so.
Stan, I've stood by you all along. But honestly, if you spoil a ceremony, I'll never forgive you.
Would I really spoil it, Donna? Would I really? If I just told exactly what happened, the way they're trying to shut me up and everything else?
My grandparents are coming all the way across the country for this.
So they'll find out where it's really at. What's wrong with that?
What about Miss Johnson?
What about Miss Johnson?
She's practically sponsored you as a valedictorian. You blow the speech, you still graduate, right? But she has to stay here.
She doesn't even have tenure, man. She could lose her job.
Listen, Miss Johnson's okay. She wants you to take a stand.
How do you know, Jason?
I'd better fill you in on the final exam. The test will be in 3 parts: essay, multiple choice, and true or false.
Stan, you nervous?
Yeah, kind of. Listen, what should I do? Should I go along with them?
You have to decide that for yourself, Stan.
Look, if you want me to, I'll stick to my speech.
That's not a very good reason.
Everything is getting so complicated. It seems like there are so many people involved. No matter what I do, I can't... Just, you tell me what you think, Miss Johnson.
Stan, it's your speech. Now you better go. You're going to be late for the procession.
We will always remember the standards you have set for us. The image of Walt Whitman High School will burn brightly in our memory.
My name is Stan Siebert. I've been through quite an experience in the last few weeks. Some of it good. I've gotten to know some very fine people who teach here at Walt Whitman. These people understand, and they help. They help me. See, I criticized the system, and I got blasted for it.
I think it's ad-lib time.
Kids are told that we're sent to school to learn to think for ourselves. Well, I don't think that's true. I think you people want us to buy your ideas wholesale. Well, they're old ideas, and they're worn out, and I am not going to do it. And there are a lot of kids like me. You'd think that you parents had made such a great, perfect world. Well, the world is in pretty crummy condition, and you made it that way. Now, some of you use words, you know, like freedom and democracy and like that. Well, I haven't seen too much freedom and democracy in my time at school. You jam us into crowded classes like a bunch of animals because you won't give your money for bigger schools and better facilities, and then you hire a bunch of teachers to cram a bunch of junk down our throats like trigonometry and French, so that we have to beat our brains out to get better grades than the next kid, so that we go to college where we learn more useless junk that has nothing whatever to do with what we need.
Are you pleased with your protege, Miss Johnson? Now I know how Lenin's mother must have felt.
The world is burning. Races are at one another's throats. There are wars. Millions of people are starving. Why don't you teach us how to build a better world? We can't change the mess that you've given us by learning trigonometry.
Is this supposed to be a graduation speech?
You children all think you're so smart. You can't change the world overnight, you know?
You people have had a lot longer than overnight.
The kid's got a point.
Listen, if you can't say something constructive, sit down.
Let's let the speaker continue, please.
All you kids are alike. All you want to do is tear down, just like you've ruined this graduation.
What is so important about a graduation?
It is a tradition, and you are ruining it.
There are more important things than tradition.
We must let the speaker continue, please.
Tradition makes a big deal of something just because it's been going on for a long time. Like us wearing these crazy gowns. I mean, just because some crazy Greek or somebody wore it 1,000 years ago, does that mean that I have to wear it? The world is going to change because it has to change. It can't go on this way. And whether you like it or not, the kids are the ones who are going to change it.
Mr. Kaufman, that child has made a circus out of this graduation.
Do you agree with what he says?
No, not completely. But the important thing is that Stan earned the right to speak and that he was heard. Now, some of us don't like the things that he said, but we're all in one piece. No harm was done. Oh, some of our attitudes were shaken, but then some of our attitudes can stand a little shaking. Now then, the first to receive their diplomas will be our speakers. Stan Siebert. Congratulations.
Oh, you should feel pretty good. Gave one of our dusty old institutions quite a shake up there.
Thank you, Pete. Johnson, you really did it. Thanks, Liz.
Mr. Kaufman, I want to congratulate you. This graduation was invigorating. Whose idea was it?
Well, if anyone deserves credit, it would be Miss Johnson here.
Miss Johnson, it was invigorating, an invigorating experience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be Whitman's Joan of Arc?
I don't know yet.
Mr. Kaufman, I am appalled and distressed at that exhibition that we just witnessed. Now, I would like to know just exactly who is responsible for that child being chosen to speak.
Well, I'm responsible for whatever goes on here at Walt Whitman.
Well, in that case, I would like to ask you...
Excuse me, but with all due respect to Mr. Kaufman, it was actually my idea that Stan be allowed to speak.
Oh, well, then perhaps you can tell me what your standards are.
Excuse me, Miss Johnson, but Stan would have never made the speech if I hadn't okayed it. If you have any complaints to make, you can direct them at me.
It's very nice of you, Mr. Kaufman, but in all fairness, all the complaints should be made to me. Now, you do want to be fair, don't you?
I want to be fair, Miss Johnson, but until you're principal of this high school...
Now, what were we talking about?
Joan of Arc.
Right. And you know what finally happened to her. Yeah, but you see, she didn't have Mr. Kaufman to protect her.
think with Jerry Cates, we stand a chance at the city championship.
There's Jerry! Great game, Jerry. Fantastic game. Way to go.
Good game, Jerry. I said good game.
Oh, thanks a lot.
You were fabulous, Jerry. Really terrific.
Hey, Jerry. You remember my parents. My mother's on the right.
We've missed you, Jerry.
Thursday nights just doesn't seem the same. The Lakers haven't been doing too well either without you there watching.
Yeah, well, we have a TV set at home now. It was nice seeing you.
Come see us.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Jerry. Where you going?
I gotta get home.
Every day you gotta get home. What's there?
Nothing, man. I just gotta get home.
All right, but you don't have to get mad.
Look, I'm not mad. I just gotta get home.
Is that from your mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you're 2 weeks overdue today. I don't usually give any extensions to my tenants.
Well, she's coming home, Mrs. Bush. She told me in her last letter that she'd let me know when to meet her at the airport.
Maybe there's a check in there for me.
Well, if there is, I'll see that you get it.
The events leading up to the War of 1812 were very complex. And it was a war with a certain similarity to our own situation in Vietnam, in that all of the people weren't in favor of it. Does anybody else know of any other similarities? Jason.
Well, there was a group in Congress that wanted the war called War Hawks, so I guess there must have been a hawk and dove thing then, too.
Okay, cool it.
Well, what was the question, Mr. Dixon?
Okay, that's it. And remember, tomorrow, a 10-minute quiz. Jerry, I'd like to talk to you for a minute. You know, this isn't the first time that you've fallen asleep in class lately. And your test marks are going down. Is there something you want to talk about?
I guess it's just basketball practice, along with everything else, you know.
Well, you were on the team last year and it didn't seem to make that much difference, did it?
No.
Have you had a physical checkup lately?
Yeah, I had one just before season started. I'm all right.
And what's the problem?
I don't know.
Okay.
If nobody else has any victims to offer, I've got one. How about Jerry Cates? It seems like everybody's turned in a referral slip on him in the last couple of months or so.
He's not really a disciplinary case. He just sleeps in class.
How are his grades?
Oh, not too good. He's failing English. Sociology down from an A- to a C. Spanish down from a B to a C.
Well, what's the matter with him? Has anybody tried to talk to him?
Well, you can't. He's a pretty buttoned-up kid these days. The only person he'll talk to is Larry Ellis.
It's funny, Jerry Cates always seemed like an open, outgoing boy.
I got a call about Jerry today, but it was so kind of dumb. I just put it out of my mind, but...
What was it?
Well, it was from his landlady, Mrs. Barnaby or Barnes or something like that. Anyway, she went through this whole song and dance about her rent. So I told her to take it up with Jerry's mother. And she said something like, "That's easier said than done." Then she hung up.
Well, what would she call the school for, I wonder?
I don't know. She had one of those high, hysterical voices. I didn't even take it seriously.
Who has him first period tomorrow?
I do.
Send him to my office after class, will you, Miss Johnson? I'd like to talk to him. Don't make a big deal out of it. Just tell him I'd like to chat with him.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm with the TV Opinion Institute, and I'd like to ask you a
Later,
few questions.
Larry, later.
You have to go home, right?
You got it.
Hey, Jerry, are you in some kind of trouble?
There's no trouble, man.
Then what's the matter with you?
All right, look. Now, I have a job, okay? In a gas station, all right? Now, I have to be there at 5:30. Now, that gives me 1/2 hour, and I still have to eat first, all right?
Why didn't you tell me about the job in the first place?
Because I didn't want anybody to know about it.
What's the big deal?
Larry, I need this job. And I don't want anybody at school to tell me I have to quit because of my marks or anything else. Now, do you understand?
Oh, can I come in for a minute?
Yeah.
Oh, am I keeping you from something?
Well, I do have to go somewhere. I have a dentist appointment.
Oh. Well, you go ahead. I'll talk to your mother if she's around.
Well, she's not here right now.
Oh, it's too bad. Well, I'll come back.
Well, she won't be back.
Oh.
I mean, for quite a while. She works late on Thursdays.
Thursdays? I must have missed a day somewhere. I could swear today was Wednesday.
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean Wednesdays. Yeah.
What's something burning?
Oh, it's probably just the people next door burning trash.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, Jerry, I know you're in a hurry. I'm not going to keep you. Tomorrow morning, why don't you drop into my office? We'll have a little talk. Try to make it before the first bell, okay?
Well, did I do something wrong?
No. It's just that you seem to be having a little trouble scholastically, mainly history and English. And I used to be a pretty fair English teacher. Maybe I can help you out.
Why? I mean, why me? There's a lot of kids doing worser than me in English.
Worser? No, not much worser. Jerry, there is something burning in that oven. Don't you think you better see? I think you overcooked it. Jerry, where's your mother?
I told you, my mother is at work. She works overtime.
Okay, Jerry.
Why do you want to know about me?
I'd like to help you.
She's a good person. I don't want you to think she's not. Her problem is... She just believes what people say. Men. What do you care? It doesn't matter. What does it matter? You know what I mean?
Seems to matter a great deal.
Yeah. She's got this fantastic trust. Well, ever since my dad ran off, she has had 1 million proposals and 100,000 honeymoons. But not one wedding. I know what you're thinking, but she's not like what you're thinking.
Actually, I was thinking she's a lucky woman to have a son like you.
So what's going to happen to him? He's underage.
Well, at least he's talking to me now. We had a real good session this morning. And I've made arrangements with his landlady about the rent.
You mean you paid it? With all due respect, Mr. Kaufman,
Oh?
I mean, you just can't go getting involved like that.
Well, I don't see why not. He's a good boy and he's got a big problem. Maybe I can help him. He's a good boy.
Yeah, but how long can you go on paying his rent?
What is this obsession you have with his rent?
Mr. Kaufman, isn't it against the law for a minor to live alone?
Well,
if that's true, then it's also against the law for you to help him to live alone.
well, but it's not going to be forever. I mean, presumably his mother will come back sometime. I think she genuinely loves the boy. She's just...
Romantic?
That's right. Romantic.
Lady here to see you.
What?
Jerry, Kate,
Yeah?
I wonder if I could talk to you for a moment.
Well, what about?
Yeah, what about? I'm this boy's manager, and he never makes a move without me.
Would you excuse us for a moment, I wonder?
Oh, sure. Just don't sign anything.
I'm Ana Santos. I'm from the Child Welfare and Attendance Department.
Man, why didn't you tell me your old lady was gone?
Why should I?
What'd you tell her? The hooky cop.
I told her my mother was coming home. She said she'd come by again next week to check on her.
What if your mother doesn't show up by then?
Now I gotta go into a foster home.
Foster home? You?
Unless I can get a guardian.
How you gonna do that? They having a special sale on guardians this week?
Don't sweat it, man. I'll get one.
You will, huh?
Yeah.
Who?
Mr. Kaufman, what's a guardian?
Well, there are several different kinds.
Oh, I know. I mean the kind that takes care of a kid.
Answered your own question. Jerry. Mrs. Santos from the Child Welfare Department was here last period.
Well, then, you know. Yeah, but a kid my age doesn't have to live with a guardian, does he? I mean, well, I could just keep on living by myself, and all the guardian would have to do would be just sign papers and say everything's cool in case there's any trouble, right?
Oh, well, that's true, but...
Well, do you think I might be able to find somebody who'd do that for me?
Jerry, you should be with a family that cares for you. You don't want somebody that just signs papers to fulfill the legal requirements.
I know, but it'd just be for a little while. Just till my mother gets back.
Yeah, but... Are you asking me to be your guardian?
Would you?
It's very flattering, Jerry. I like you. I've enjoyed our morning sessions. But frankly, I can't convince myself that you're continuing to live alone like this is a good thing for you. Don't you think you'd be happier in a family?
A family? Oh, you mean a foster family, where they get paid for taking care of kids?
Oh, now, wait a minute. Now, look, if somebody's out to make money, believe me, there are easier ways. The foster families that I have known are kind, understanding people who feel that their lives are enriched by being around young people.
And you don't, right?
Well, I'm not sure. I've never taken on more than 3,500 at once.
In other words, no, you won't be my guardian.
Well, now, wait, I didn't say that.
Oh, that's okay, Mr. Kaufman. Just forget I asked.
Jerry. I'll tell Mrs. Santos that I've consented to be your guardian.
Oh, thanks a lot, Mr. Kaufman. Well, I talk about my mother. I'm just as dumb as she is.
Why? For trusting people?
For trusting the wrong people. Who is it?
Me.
What do you want?
All right, quit stalling, Gates, and open up this door, see? Or I'm coming in after you. Where you going?
I don't know. Any place. Just know I'm not going into any foster home.
What about the guardian you're gonna get?
I don't need no guardian. I'm better off by myself.
Oh, I can see that. The place really looks great. Informal-like. And when you get tired of washing dishes, you can always lie down on the stove.
Oh, you got nothing better to do than just hang around and bug me, huh?
Jerry, why do you act so tough? You know I'm your friend.
Do me a favor, huh? Just beat it.
If I really thought you wanted me to go, I would.
I want you to. Why would I want a stupid little midget like you hanging around?
Because I can help you, that's why.
What are you doing?
You gotta eat, don't you? Suitcase stew had a little ketchup, a little salt and pepper. How about a dash of underwear?
Hey, cut it out, man.
Go ahead and hit me, and I'll hit you right back. Man, you're a bummer, you know that? You are so hung up feeling sorry about yourself, you don't even know who's on your side. Man, why don't you just admit it? You're scared and lonely. And you just ain't cutting it by yourself.
All of his clothes are gone. Do you suppose he ran away?
Well, I've really done it, haven't I? The boy was just reaching out for me, and now what?
Oh, I wouldn't be so hard on myself if I were you. You did everything you could.
Hey, if you're looking for the Cates boy, he's not here.
Do you have any idea where he might have gone?
How would I know? They just left without a word. And after all I've done for him, too.
Yes, well, did you say they?
I guess I didn't know what I was gonna do, and Larry here asked me to come over for dinner to give me time to think about it.
Have you thought about it?
Yeah, and I guess what you said was right, Mr. Kaufman. So I'll go tell Mrs. Santos to find me a foster home.
I think that's best, Jerry.
Yeah. Mr. Kaufman, I mean, what I said in your office...
Oh, forget about that. I understand. I didn't say exactly what I wanted to, either.
You two, come and help me with the coffin cake, okay? Oh, you too, Mr. Kaufman. If you don't mind.
No.
I guess Mr. Kaufman's right. Family wouldn't take a kid in if they didn't like him. And the county checks him out real good, too. Right?
They're very thorough.
Yeah, who knows? I might even dig it. At least I won't have to worry about the rent anymore.
You'll be all right, Jerry.
Thank you.
Hey, Jerry. If I ask a favor, you promise not to get bugged?
No, I promise.
Well, you say I always bug you.
I said I wouldn't get mad.
See, you're getting mad already.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I am not.
I mean, you promise not to get mad if I get in the bathroom before you do, or use your towel, or your aftershave lotion?
Wait a minute, what are you talking about?
Jerry, what Larry's trying to say is he wants you to stay here with us. We all would.
What do you say, Jerry? Okay, I'll even promise not to use your aftershave lotion. I mean, why should I? I don't even shave. Stay with us, Jerry.
I'd like that. Like, just till my mother gets back.
Oh, of course.
And if you find that changing homes doesn't solve all of your problems, like the difference between a participle and a gerund, my door is still open.
Mr. Kaufman, Jerry Kate's mother's here to see you.
Oh, yes. Send her in. Mrs. Cates.
Mr. Kaufman, I've certainly looked forward to meeting you so.
Well, won't you sit down?
No, I just came by to thank you for being so kind to Jerry while I was away.
He's a fine boy.
I'm afraid that I probably haven't thought about him as much as I should have lately. But all that's going to change now. Yes, Lou and I are getting married.
Well, congratulations.
And he's waiting for me in Seattle. And I'm going back tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jerry's going to come and live with us. I don't know when, but soon. As soon as possible.
Something wrong?
Somehow I just expected a much older man.
Oh. Well, it's very kind of you.
Such a distinguished-looking boss you have. Well, I'll be running along. Maybe we'll run into each other again sometime.
Hope so. Bye, Mrs. Cates.
Au revoir, Mr. Kaufman.
Au revoir, Mr. Kaufman.
What is it? What in the world?
Hey, excuse me.
You talking to us?
Yes, could you kindly help me? This is my first day, and I'm told to look up the administration office.
Yeah, sure. I'm going that way.
Huh, thanks. I know I'd get lost for sure. There aren't this many buildings in all of Pawtucket County.
Where you from, man?
Webster's Turnaround, Missouri. But I know most people never heard of a Webster's Turnaround. That's why I say Pawtucket.
Well, look, I'm going this way. I'll see you later, man.
Come on. Come on. Hey! Hey! Hey, is that your bike over there?
Well, it belongs to the store I work for, but they let me use it.
Boy, that's some bike. Busby's Groceries. We deliver. Okay, Archie. I'll bet you're new in school.
How could you tell?
Your shoe gave you away. I didn't recognize the flap.
Oh, you mean my talking shoe.
Your what?
Well, it may be old, but it keeps me company. I can talk to it. Hello, shoe.
Hi, how are you? Hey, watch this.
It's nice to be in the big city, but people's shoes don't seem to talk much out here.
Oh, no. We better get going.
Shoe, say goodbye.
Goodbye. Yeah. Hey, look, I'd really like to sit and rap with you in your shoe sometime. Yeah, it must have plenty of soul. Yeah. Oh, good. Let's go. Yeah. Hey, maybe I could sit down and chat with your shirt one of these days.
Oh, good morning, Rich.
Oh, hi, Mr. Dixon. This is a new kid in school.
Matthew Palmer, pleased to meet you, sir.
How are you?
Oh, by the way, my name is Richie.
You can call me Matt. A stranger stops feeling like a stranger once he's met a friend.
Yeah, like I always say. Oh, I was going to take him to the office.
Well, I'm going down that way myself. Come on, you want to walk with me?
Oh, well, in that case, I'll go to class. See you.
See you later, Rich.
You know, I can't get over how big this school is. The only thing my old school had bigger was the playground. It stretched about 50 miles in every direction.
Well, you must have come from a small town.
Yeah, this is really a chance of a lifetime coming here. Ma'am, if you're wondering why my birth certificate was issued 5 years after I was born, it's because I was born on a farm and there wasn't a doctor. But I didn't need to prove I was living until I started in school.
Well, there's more to it than that. You see, the standards are different. So although you're supposed to be in the 11th grade, I'm afraid we're going to have to keep you in the 10th.
Oh, busy.
No, come here. Mr. Kaufman, this is Matthew Palmer, a new student. This is our principal, Mr. Kaufman.
Pleased to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you. What's he so polite about? What's he done wrong?
Nothing. Matt's from a rural school, and it seems he has a lot of catching up to do.
I see.
But I was top in my class, and I read a lot of books. Leaves of Grass, Pilgrim's Progress, Tom Sawyer Detective, Huckleberry Finn.
Excuse me, Tom Sawyer Detective?
Yes, sir. It's one of my favorites. Don't you think schools are supposed to bring out the best in a person?
Oh, hopefully.
Well, if you all put me back a grade, how can that bring out the best in me?
Well, we just don't want to put you in a class that's over your head.
I can catch up. My family worked hard all their lives. I can do it for a few weeks.
Well, it might take a little more than a few weeks.
Well, I'll work harder a few weeks longer.
Well, he sure is determined.
I sure am.
Well, I think we can give him a chance. What do you think, Miss McIntyre?
Okay.
Thank you, sir, ma'am. I won't let you down.
All right, then take these to the registrar.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Good luck. Have you ever heard of Tom Sawyer Detective?
Sure, I read it years ago.
Another product of the Civil War was outlaws. The North considered Quantrell's raiders to be nothing more than outlaws in Southern uniforms. Then after the war, out of Quantrell's raiders came Jesse James and his gang, the Dalton brothers.
Say, when those guys had a reunion of their old army buddies, it must have been something else.
It must have been. Now, was the war to blame for creating these outlaws, or did these men use the war as an excuse to break the law?
Pardon me, sir.
Yes, Matt.
Now, I know it ain't right to glorify outlaws, but Jesse James did have some good in him. My great-grandma met Jesse once. If you'd like to hear about it.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, it happened to Grandma Cox. It was on her farm back in Missouri. And one morning, this man rode up and said he was tired and hungry and asked for breakfast.
Oh, brother.
Well, Grandma Cox fixed breakfast for him, and this man said it was the best he ever ate. He must have noticed that she was looking kind of sad, and she told him that the banker was coming that day to foreclose on her farm because she didn't have $300 to pay off the mortgage. Well, he thanked her and rode off, and you can imagine her face when she found $300 under his plate. And you can imagine the banker's face when she paid him off and he couldn't foreclose. He was still feeling kind of out of sorts riding back to town when that same feller stepped out with a gun and says, "Hands up, this is a holdup." And he took back the $300 and rode off. Later on, the banker identified a wanted poster, and you never guess who that bandit was.
John Wayne.
It was very interesting, Matt.
So is Mother Goose.
That's enough, Archie.
Mr. Dixon.
Yes, Matt.
Did I do something wrong?
What do you mean?
Well, the kids were laughing and carrying on like they didn't believe me or something.
Oh, I think they believed you.
Then what?
Well, Matt, maybe it's because you're a new student. And new students often get teased a little at first. But I wouldn't worry about it too much if I were you.
I should have thought of that. It's just that I've never been a new student before. Thanks, Mr. Dixon. Boy, oh boy, this is really something.
Now, see, now, right over here's where you'll have your biology lab.
This is really something. Hey, what's this whatchamacallit up on the wall?
Oh, this is our fire alarm. In case there's a fire, you just take this thing and break the window and the bell rings.
Really? Our fire alarm back home was when someone yelled, "Fire! Fire!"
What the devil's going on here?
I was just,
You're just being a wise guy. That's what you were doing, right?
No, sir.
Let me give you a little advice, sonny boy. Don't be a wise guy, because you're not impressing anybody. Now, if you feel you've got to be a wise guy, you just keep as far away from me as you can, because I don't like wise guys. Not at all. Not one little bit.
Shoot, folks sure are touchy around these parts.
And then he was telling us the story about Jesse James, you know. Very interesting. But you know how the kids get when there's somebody different. They started to put him on.
Is he the one the kids call Bastrop McGraw? And they were teasing this tall, kind of skinny kid in study hall. They were asking him directions to the OK Corral and stuff like that.
That was him, all right.
It's a shame, isn't it? Such a decent, innocent boy. It's almost as if he's too nice.
Oh, I don't think you can be too nice. Matt's problem is that he's too naive. You know, he finds it hard to believe that anybody would take advantage of him.
Sure would be swell if everybody could be like that.
But they're not. Matt's just gonna have to wise up.
Don't worry, he will.
Yeah. If he's gonna get along at all, he's gonna have to become as tough and hardened and cynical as the rest of us.
Here he comes. Boy, are we in big trouble.
Y'all in trouble?
I don't know what we're gonna do.
What a day for Jerry to get sick, huh?
Well, we gotta get somebody, you know?
What about him? I don't know. You think he can do it?
He's got to. It's our only chance. What do you say, Matt, would you?
Sure. Would I do what?
Well, we're the fire drill squad, see? There's gonna be a fire drill in 2 minutes. Only Jerry, the hose monitor, ain't here. And we gotta go cover our post, but there's nobody to take the hose. Would you do it? It's an honor. Yeah. Usually only seniors get to carry the hose. What do you say?
Sure, I'd be proud to help you fellows out.
Great. Okay, take this. Good. Now go up the stairs to the second floor and stand guard.
Is that all?
Is that all? Did you hear that? The second floor is the heart of the building. That's where the hose man has to stand guard. Okay, now let's hurry. Now get up there and stay there till we come for you. Go ahead.
Okay, and thanks a lot for letting me do this for you guys.
That's okay. That's okay. Better get going.
this what he was supposed to be doing?
Well, they said, you know the fire drill? Well, my post is here, see?
All I see is a wise guy. Now, I told you how I feel about wise guys.
I didn't mean you getting all wet.
Turn it off, you fool!
Do you know how serious it is to squirt a teacher?
I sure do, but I am sorry.
Well, sorry is not good enough, Matt. I mean, suppose there'd been a real fire while you were busy shrinking Mr. Windish's shirt with that hose.
Sure was a dumb mistake.
Matt, do you realize that a bunch of kids purposely got you into trouble?
Well, I hate to think the worst of folks, but I kind of suspect you're right.
Well, that's something. Now, I'm going to have to know who those boys were. This is too serious an offense to let go unpunished.
I'm sorry, sir, I can't tell you that. My daddy taught me there's nothing worse than a man who tells on his neighbor.
That's very commendable, Matt. But those neighbors made a fool of you.
When you think you're doing the right thing, you don't ask yourself if you're being a fool for doing it.
Matt, would you wait in the outer office, please?
Yes. I know it don't help much, but I am sorry about causing so much trouble.
All right, Matt.
You do believe him, don't you?
No, of course I do.
Then there's no problem.
Oh, there's a very big problem. I can't have a kid as gullible as Matt running around the halls squirting people with hoses. Who knows what he's going to do next? Oh, more to the point, what they'll do to him next.
I know. But you can't punish him because of his gullibility.
Oh, I don't want to punish him.
What are you going to do?
Well, I don't know, but he's got to be straightened out so he won't make such a fool of himself.
Somebody's got to wise him up.
Well, exactly, but how?
I think I know.
How are you going to do it?
Oh, not me. There's only one person I could entrust with such a delicate assignment. What you want me to do, man? I suppose you know how some of the students are treating that new kid, Matt?
Yeah, pretty cute.
Well, they're going to continue to give him a rough time if somebody doesn't wise him up.
Why don't you do it?
Well, because they would even be harder on him if they thought that I was giving him special attention.
Well, I ain't no social worker.
And it's none of your business, right?
I was gonna say that next.
Well, you can do what you want to, Jason, but you're the only one who can teach Matt how to take care of himself.
What do you mean? Why me?
Because you're the only one that I can think of who sees clear-headed enough to be able to teach a kid like Matt the facts of life.
Now, how about that?
You'll do it?
Well, if I can't hip him, he can't be hipped.
See, it's just that you never lived in a city before, and we want to teach you the score, understand?
Well, if you figure there's something that you should teach me, I figure I might as well learn it.
Hey, well, the first thing you're gonna learn is that I'm the one teaching, not him. He's got a lot of smarting up to do himself.
Well, what are you gonna teach me?
How to take care of yourself. There's gonna be a lot of cats sitting on you for bread.
Money.
They're gonna give you all kind of sad stories on how bad they need it and all. But don't give it to them. Okay? You got it? Give me a quarter.
Yeah.
You gonna give it to me?
I'd sure like to, but I'm afraid I can't.
That's better.
All I got's a dime.
Why would you give me your last dime?
'Cause you asked for it.
You didn't even ask what I wanted for.
A body has a right to his own privacy. You wouldn't borrow money if you didn't need it.
You know, if you look mean, cats wouldn't try to take advantage of you in the first place.
How can I look mean if I don't feel like it?
I'm not asking you to be mean, just look mean.
Look mean?
Sure. Then people won't even ask favors unless they really need it.
Yeah, man, it's all in your style. Look, just do what I do. Hunch over. Now put your hand in your pocket. Now scowl. Keep scowling. Now squint one of your eyes. Curl your lip.
Jace, let's try him on the walk.
Come on, try it.
I'm sorry, Jason. I can't do that.
Well, the only thing left for you to do is have it out with Archie. Then the others will fall in line.
You mean fight? I ain't been in a fight since Cousin Barney stuck my sister Lucy's head in a bucket of raspberries.
Did you whoop him something good?
No, but I yelled on him pretty fair. I don't believe in hitting.
Well, Archie don't have to know that sometimes a good bluff will do the trick. The next time he pulls something on you, tell him quit jiving or else.
Or else what?
Or else you gonna make him sorry he spoke your name in vain. You gonna beat his head down so far you have to pull off his sock to see. You'll grind him in the dust, you'll pulverize him, and then you gonna chew him up and spit out the pieces. If he tangles with you, he tangles with a wildcat. You gonna use him for a doormat. He'll regret the ever-loving day he set eyes on Matthew Palmer. Dig it?
Yeah, but I don't know if I can say all that like I mean it.
Well, if you want to survive here at Whitman, you better try.
Well, I'll do my best.
That boy. There you go, Matt. You just may get it on yet.
Well, I gotta go to work. Oh, here's your dime.
Hey, come on, Gladys. Let's go over to the Greensleeves and listen to some music.
Oh, I'd like to, Archie, but Jeannie and I and some of the kids are going bicycle riding over at Adams Park.
Bicycle riding?
Yeah, sure, it's fun. Hey, why don't you come?
Boy, I'd like to, but I don't have a...
What'd you say?
I said I'll meet you there. I'll be the guy riding the slickest, wildest pair of wheels you ever saw in your life. Yeah. Matt, am I glad to see you. You gotta help me.
Help you after the trouble you got me into the last time you asked me to help you?
Oh, I'm sorry, man. That was just sort of an initiation, you know, to see if you could take it. We didn't want to get you into any trouble.
Well, I gotta go to work.
But you gotta help me. It's hard for me to ask you this after what we pulled on you, but it's important, no kidding. You gotta do it for me.
Do what?
Lend me your bike.
I can't. I deliver groceries with it. Would you kindly move, please?
But it's an emergency. My Aunt Lorna was taken to the hospital. I just got an emergency phone call. My folks are at work, and she's there all alone. I gotta get over there.
Is that the truth?
Would I kid you about something serious like this?
No, but I'm sorry. I gotta deliver groceries. Can't you take the bus?
No bus goes near there. Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Poor Aunt Lorna.
Well, okay, you can have it.
Great, you saved my life.
I deliver my groceries on foot.
You're too much, man.
I hope your aunt's okay.
So I think I made some kind of impression on that country boy, Mr. Dixon. He's gonna think twice before he let anybody walk over him again.
That's good, Jason. I'm glad to hear it.
Jason.
Hi, Gladys.
Hey, hi, Mr. Dixon. Hey, Jake.
Hi, Archie.
Archie! It's not my fault if he believes everything you tell him.
So you lied to him and took advantage of him, huh? Mr. Busby said he should be around here somewhere.
Yeah, he said he's on his way down to 2211 Willow Street. There he is.
Hey, Matt! Hold up a minute.
I couldn't tell Mr. Busby I loaned out his bike, and I gotta deliver all my groceries before supper time or I'll lose my job.
Well, hold on a minute. We've got somebody who wants to say something to you.
Hi, Archie. How's your aunt?
I don't have any aunt in the hospital.
You don't?
No. I just said that so I could use your bike.
To do what?
To go riding in the park.
You wanted to go riding in the park, so you told me that fib about your aunt being in the hospital?
That's right.
And made me deliver my groceries on foot, even though I might lose my job?
Well, if you're dumb enough to believe me, it's your tough luck.
Archie, I've had just about enough of you.
No.
Shut up! You shut your mouth or I'm gonna shut it for you. Now, I'm gonna give you one more warning, then that's it. Do I make myself clear? You mess with me one more time, I'm gonna knock your head so far down you'll have to take off your socks to see. I'll grind you into the sidewalk, pulverize you into mincemeat, chew you up and spit out to pieces. You tangle with me, you'll tangle with a wildcat. You mess with me one more time, you'll regret the ever-loving day you set your little piggy eyes on Matthew Palmer. Now beat it.
Hey, it's a long walk.
I said beat it.
You did it, Matt. I gotta say, you yelled on him pretty fair. Pretty fair. Yeah, I don't think you'll be having any more trouble with Archie. Come on, we'll help you deliver those groceries, and then we'll go back and pick up your bike. What's wrong?
Well, you don't think I was too hard on Archie, do you? I mean, I'd hate to think I might have really hurt his feelings.
Come on.
I mean, I'd hate for a person to be really feeling bad on my account. Back home once, I knew a boy who had a habit of taking frogs to school, putting them in the teacher's bed, and one time he put one in prison.
Well, he was such a nice, gentle kid, so trusting. And now you and Jason have made him just as cynical and suspicious as everybody else.
Only suspicious enough to take care of himself.
Well, maybe he had something we've lost, a kind of openness, a belief that the next guy isn't always trying to take advantage of him.
Maybe. Well, anyway, I gotta get to the cleaners. I gotta pick up my one and only suit.
You going somewhere tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, where?
To dinner.
With anyone?
A friend.
Old school buddy.
Good guess.
I didn't know you were still in touch with any of your old school buddies.
Well, she's the only one.
She?
Liz, you know you're right. Matt's lack of suspicion was kind of nice. Trust is a wonderful... What?
Who are you taking out to dinner tonight?
You mean you forgot?
Forgot what? Oh. Tonight's beans and enchiladas night, isn't it?
Like I was saying, lack of suspicion and trust, wonderful qualities, but very rare these days, very rare.